All you devils out there, happy Friday. Oh, let's see, a little after 1 o'clock for me. We got? Let's see, I've got six assets here teed up here. Some we're going to go through relatively quickly because there just hasn't been a lot of change. Bitcoin, ETH, we'll look at quickly. I've got the SPX and the QQQ as we're hitting new all-time highs. So probably worth a quick look. And then two crypto assets, two altcoins that have, I think, some interesting setup potential here. So we're going to look at MKR and Solana. Okay, so let's start with Bitcoin again. This is, talked about this last week, right into the golden zone. We know Bitcoin isn't very responsive at the golden zone, so this is absolutely, it's what you're anticipating, right? If you when you're down here and you're going, God, I wonder where that could go. Well, where would be the last stop? I mean, this is not hard to do. Now that's arithmetic, right? That's from the all-time high. I might have to tighten that a little bit. Yeah, let me. If you haven't seen this before, hang on a second. Let me just back this up, just in case, right? I've got to assume the majority of you have seen this before. Yeah, I remember this well. This was the 20K, right, down to 3. This was where we. Again, I've shown it so many times. Sometimes I feel silly doing it. There's new people, new members, new subscribers. You have to know where that is at all times, right? So there's a good example of it. Okay, let me get that out of there, and we'll get over to the hard right edge. Just a reminder how responsive Bitcoin is. Oh, what a shock. Okay, so I've seen nothing but just the sky is falling commentary on Bitcoin. It's just so hard to understand, right? In a way, I'm like, oh, God, that's good news, right? So glad to hear that the media, well, it's not just the media. It's the whole industry. It's like, oh, my God, I thought we were going to the moon with ETFs. Okay, right? I mean, that's a reasonable sentiment to have had, right? Okay, if we waited 10 years to get them, now we got them and we're selling off, right? The rumors sell the news seems to be what's underway here. Now there's, for those of you that really dig into the fundamentals, there's some things to be concerned about as miners are wrestling with some of their issues. We as technicians, I think that's a mistake to dig too deeply there because that's going to dramatically influence. You're going to start to see things that aren't there. So as we sit here, there's nothing that has happened here that would make at least in this case, an Elliottian, unless we do this, right, and we break this pivot, all that's happening here is exactly what you were hoping would happen. Oh my God, maybe it'll hit that golden zone and we'll get a retrace into the 4 before we go back for the 5. Maybe if we're lucky, if we're super lucky, we'll get a retrace here. It's interesting, right? It's just human nature. Like, oh God, it's going to go to the moon, right? And it retraces, and now the Bitcoin's over. It's just, thankfully, right? I mean, this is how the markets move. This is the fear and greed, right? So what's happening here, right? Greed, fear. That's all Elliott Wave is. That's all it's ever been. Greed, fear. Greed, fear. Right? That's what makes the wave structure, right? It's not magic boxes, magic lines. Market structure, right, helps us identify, what side of the market we want to be on. So I guess to some degree that would depend on the time frame that you're trading. If you're trading off of a long-term chart here, this is, oh my God, really? Is it really? Is it going to do this? Oh my God, is it going to give me 3 into the channel low at the 50? Oh my God, if it's 36,000, Bitcoin is completely crashing. Oh, please crash right there. Please crash there so I can buy it there. That's what's in my head. Okay. Okay. Well, here's the B wave. Oh, okay. Well, guess that was just a short live. Okay. Now we're going to, right. Would that be what if you've been studying Elliott Wave for 20 minutes, right? Is that what you would anticipate? That this little, oh shit, I can't even do it. This little pivot right here, this is going to correct all of this. Anything's possible, but is that what you would that be your first thought? Oh, 4's in, here we go. Probably not. Not to be snarky about it. It's just, it shocks me how what I'm reading in the crypto media. Bitcoin collapsing, Bitcoin crashing. Oh, the disappointment across the crypto space. Again, now I'm not saying, right, for all I know, this is through the floor, right, and it's over, right? Again, nobody knows. Although, again, if you're a technician, wouldn't this be on your dream setup? Oh God, maybe we'll get our retracing. Okay, I kind of beat that dead horse. Okay, right. So there we go. Right. I think this is just what I mean, again, you couldn't script it any better. You couldn't hope for it any better. Self-contained impulse into the third. We pause right in the golden zone. I mean, the technicals are pretty spot on here. Now you will notice here I've got some additional, what do we call them? Rectangles here, I guess we'll call them here with lines. Now these are breaker blocks for those of you that have got some insight into. I don't. Did he coin the phrase breaker block? He may have. That's ICT. He may have coined that. I don't know. Right. Here's what I know. Right. Again, as I've said before, right, he's the single most influential technician over the last 5 years. Thus, we know that anyone who's studying his material, and that's, I mean, virtually every 30-year-old with a no shave beard and a backwards baseball cap. That's, right, they're all studying ICT, right? So every one of them will recognize, oh, hey, we got a breaker block, right? So what's a breaker block? It's just an order block that broke. It's like resistance becoming support. That's all it is, right? It's nothing fancy. So you can see it here, right? So here, I'll do it here, right? So this was an order block here, right? The assumption, here, let's do it this way. The assumption being, okay, swing, retrace, oh, we're going here, right? So this is the idea being that this would be a protected high, right? Because the money had to be committed to break the low to get us a new low here. When we come back, your expectation is here it's going to hold, right? And you can see there was a reaction, but once it breaks, now it becomes the support. Right, and off we go and get that out of here, right? So it breaks, here's the test. Oh, breaker block, excuse me, order block, oh, it was defended, right? So we're going for a new low, right? Doesn't happen, back. Right, so it's a fancy name for resistance becoming support, but it sounds sexy, right? Oh, I got a breaker block, oh. Not to be confused with a mitigation block or breakaway block, right? There's a lot of blocks, which, not to make light of them, right? As long as you understand what they are, and why they would be significant. This one's just called order blocks, right? But it gives you breakers and it gives you orders and breakers. It's kind of a nice, just a little assist. Always better, right? It's just like Elliott Wave software, right? It's an efficiency tool if you understand Elliott Wave, right? If you've studied it, then using a tool to just save you time. Of course, beneficial, much like I'm doing here with these. And you see me do it, right? We're using market structure software. There used to be, you really had to pay a lot for them. Now, well, a lot, right? $50, $60 a month. Now they're just great ones. Here, one that I'll show you that I use. I use a couple, right? Still have some paid ones that I have several that I can use here. I won't get into those details here, but I've got a couple here. And so as we sit here, I'm 8 minutes in here, I'm babbling. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? We're waiting for 4. Let's go over to ETH. Hang on a sec. All right, here's ETH right here over on Coinbase. Same idea. This is interesting, right? This is order block within a breaker block. So coming up here. Now, we're not as far, right? So if I do the same thing in ETH, right? I'm assuming all of you would have done this. Well, there's the 50 splitting this. So this is an order block, right? Because this should be, now theoretically, right now, it doesn't mean that it will hold, but theoretically here, this is a commitment of capital here, and we did not. This is right. This was the big before the big push down, right? We look at it this way. So even if you're thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, last swing higher, right? So if this is manipulative. Okay, right, let's get some bulls here and then crush it down. So as we come back here, this was, right, so here, same idea, right, a swing, retrace, swing, right, coming back to it, right, the money had to be committed here, so this should be support, right, this should be a protected low, it breaks, now it becomes a breaker block, right, prior support becomes resistance, right, now this software carries it all the way across here. It's kind of handy, right? So to see the order block within the breaker block is interesting, right? And then the 50 splitting it. So you might look at that and go, oh, 1, 2. Well, there's a clear 5. There's a clear 3. We done here? Well, okay. So what could we do to maybe dial in on that a little bit. Well, let's get on there. Let's measure. Does that look like that's going to be? What are we talking about here? One deep two, one very, very standard two. It's not quite golden zone. Oh, we've been through this so many times, right? We're in the pocket between the 50 and the golden zone. You got your target, right? So this algo got paid. Then off to the 100, right? So it's essentially it's a measured move. It's a classic length of 1 projected from 2, or just a little squirt through the 100. So we have this, but this is where you'd be anticipating that, right? This would be all of this. The expectation would be much higher. Oh, here we get these. We got to put them somewhere. So let's put them off to the side, right? Can we get here on this? Probably not, right? Unless there's some new trigger event. We're stalling here. So then your thought might be, okay, well, is that going to be 3? It could be, right? It's qualified, right? It's longer than 1. Could be. Would that be what you'd think? I'd think not, right? I'd think we'd be anticipating a bigger 3. So that kind of just by default leaves 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'd be shocked, right, if this was the 3 of the big kick here. Oh, let's go to an 8 hour and see how that plays on the. Oh shit! Let's clear some of that out of there, just so we can see our Elliott work, and then if we need any market structure on this 1, 2, clean self-contained impulse here into the 1, 2, much like Bitcoin. No, it's fine. It doesn't matter. 3. Oops, sorry. I know that's annoying. Oh, complex probably. WXY into the 2. It's not the prettiest impulse. Well, just looking at it, you'd be thinking the 4 was here. It's not gorgeous, right? So, okay, right, it's kind of a choppy, like it's trying, but okay, we consolidate, push. We coming back to retest? Possibly. So I just look at this. Let's just keep it simple until we're forced to complicate it. I might look at this and say, okay, if we're coming down here, 1, 2, 1, 2. What do I got below here? All right, so this no, that's not helping us. Let's get into that. Let's put the 1070 on this. All right, so when it's choppy and bumpy like that, you just double it here, and we'll get a better look at those momentum curves. All right, so that would get us here 3, 4, 5. Now, right, all it takes is one kick, right, and this changes. But as we sit here looking now, it's ugly. It's ugly, right? Okay. And then additionally, here, this looks like that's got another kick to it, right? So if we just sit here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Do I have another one here? Well, then we'd be back to this being kind of an ugly 4, 1, 2. I get that in there. I know this is getting pretty crowded here. Let's get this out of here. Let's get some of this out of here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Do we have another kick to get up to the 50? 1, 2. Jesus, that's ugly. Looks like you've got a completed 1 here. That would make your 2 here, which is just hideous, right? It's just in terms of the right look, right? Am I going to get a 1, 2? Oh, God, that's just hideous, right? It's just a horrible Elliott count. Okay, so you go, well, all right, well, if it's a horrible Elliott count, what do I do with that? Well, okay, first thing I look at here and say, can I get a clean 5th here? Because this is just so awful. Let's go to a 4 here. Well, you see the same thing happening here, right? So we get consolidation, break, right? But it can't get away from it. Come back, right? We got to test, right? Now, okay, now can we get out of here? Can we do this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like I got a good 3 here. That's a little deeper than you'd hope, right? If you're sitting here, it's not a disqualifier here, but right, if that's my 1 and this is my 1, 2, it looks like that's complete. Oh. A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like that we'd want that to finish up here pretty quickly. So again, let's just measure. Right? Let's use our standard ops here. We're at the 50. If I'm looking for a Wave 4. Okay, right. I really don't want that to go too much lower. Well, I've got the ingredients here for a low, right? Well, clearly, Jesus. Right? Any question about what happened there, given where we are? Is there even the slightest question about what happened there? Nope. Right? How did the breakout traders do there? Excuse me. Not too well. Okay. All right. So we got another kick here. I'd start getting more enthusiastic about what I'm seeing in Ethereum. Technically, right? It's not, the story is as good as it's ever been, but technically, boy, that's going to look a lot better if I can get a clean impulse to come out of the chop, chop, chop. All right, let me keep moving. Hang on. Let's do the SPX. This was a suggestion from someone last week's comments when I was asking if you guys wanted me to separate these and make them longer, shorter. But you know, that's interesting. I was absolutely sure people were going to say, "Oh, make them shorter, man. Come on, man. This is too much, right? I don't have time for this." 100% of the replies were, "No, keep them just like they are. Like the long ones. I like." Okay, good, right? So that's better than getting, "God, I hate what you've been doing." So that was the overwhelming response, right? I continually check here, say, "Well, okay, right? Is this what you guys want?" And that's what I got. So, but along with that, I also got, "Hey, you ought to do the SPX and the QQQ on your Friday videos as well." I thought, well, you know, I do it often, but here we go again. This is a little funky. You're kind of stuck with it. 1, 2, 1. So, right, there's your golden corner. Right? It's my signature trade. Don't let anyone tell you that they got it from anyone else. Right? That is my trade right there. Right? So, first here's the 80%. Then here's the algo target. Now we're breaking to, we'll see if we close there. But that's the new all-time high in the SPX. But here's the trade, right? That is, again, I'm showing it 20, 30, 40, 50,000 times. I can't even remember. I can't even tell you how many times I've shown it. So many that anyone who doesn't pay attention to it, I don't know what's wrong. Something's wrong with that. I think trying to just hammer it home. I think there was one more in here, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was here. Is that 50? There's another one in here. I can't find it. Must have been that one. I was looking at it at the time, right? Right, not quite there, right? But it fails to get its target, right? And then back the other way, right? So 50 reaction, then we're through, right? So this is actually a great. Hang on a second. This is a great example of how the algo works, because people get confused about this. Okay, it's not. We retrace here. We know it's firing here. If it doesn't make its target, that doesn't mean that when it gets here, it longs it, right? It's out, right? It gets stopped out here. So no, there's more here, but just for the example here, it gets stopped out here, right? It's out of the market. Now, what does it do? It waits. It waits for the next retrace, right? So this one breaks. Here's the next one, right? So you see why they don't care if they get stopped out, right? Because they'll get the next one, the next one, the next one, and the next one. And sometimes they get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row. We'll compensate them for the times where it doesn't make target. So here we've got our 80% being realized. We got the algo target being realized, and we're still going. Are we going to get to, right now it's a break of structure because we are, it would appear like we're going to close, and it looks like there's more legs to go here. So if we look at this, that looks like we've got a 1-2 going, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be what you'd think? I mean, okay, right? Maybe something crazy is happening, but that looks like what we're doing. 1-2, we're going up for 3, 4, 5. It's funny. It's kind of like Bitcoin, right? I've been reading, hearing financial media, Bloomberg, left and right? Everyone who comes on. Oh, the market's really overdue for a correction. Oh, God. I mean, we've got the absolute 2 best confirmations that we're headed higher, which this is kind of snarky to do, but it's he's pretty fucking consistent. Right, so we've got Kramer now saying market due for a pullback, right, as we hit new all-time highs. And Bitcoin in serious trouble, right? So I can't get any more bullish off of that because of, there are people that track his, he's knowledgeable guy, but when he's wrong, he's wrong. He's so wrong, and he's not one to tell you, well, I really made a mistake there. I guess occasionally he will do that. All right, not to shit on Kramer. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like we're still going. Is there anything here to suggest that we got to be stopping? Well, here, the last, right? So we're doubling this. So if this is the 3 of the 1, right? If it's 1, 2, 3, right? You'd anticipate this would be the peak of the Elliott oscillator. This is at the 1070s too. 1, 2, right? It's deep. It's too deep for a 4, right? You can see it right here. It's too deep. 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. Does it look like we're going to be done? This is a little, I've been using this in conjunction with the Elliott Wave Oscillator here. It's just an ADX indicator, but when it gets below 20, that signifies the implication from the designers of this is that as we get below 20, we've lost trend. So I look for that combination of when we're below 20 and we've got squeeze, right? That's not a good time to be in the market. It's a good time to be looking to get in the market, right? So as we come out of the squeeze, as we get over 20, right, you can see the two of them. Well, it's right here. Oh shit, here. Right here, as we push here, that's here and here, right? And then as we come back into the 2, trend weakens or no trend. Right now we're ripping trend again. That's a good one just for identifying, okay, when are we in a range? So either one of these work well together. 1, 2, right? Well, that would be the 3. If this is 1, 2, we know that's the 1618 up here. So it looks like this has got plenty of more legs to go. As we continually hear about, oh God, the market is really overextended. Now we're coming into tech earnings next week, right? My expectation, not because I looked at all of the whisper numbers and everything else. I'm just looking at what does the chart suggest, right? The technicians, the first assumption you make is that all the known fundamentals that can be known are factored into that price at this time, right? So I don't need to, you can if you want to, but it's not necessary. Right? That's the premise of the technician, right? The minute you commit to being a technician, you can stop watching the fundamentals. I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying that's the premise, right? It's all factored into the price, right? Constantly discounted into the price. So anything that comes, right, it has to be a surprise. Does it look like we've got anything here on the horizon? Well, the one thing we can say is that any bear liquidity here has been, that's liquidity that has been grabbed with the break of that. There were stops over there, right, for bears. It looks like we got more legs to go. Okay, that's enough. That's on that one. There's really nothing to do here. The one thing I would say with absolute certainty is that would be a dangerous place to be longing it. Maybe the one exception here would be equity index or equities. Breakouts are much more successful in equities than they are in futures or crypto. I wouldn't buy that myself. I'm a retracement trader, so I'll wait for a retrace. Now that I'm looking at a daily. Is that the best I'm going to get for a retrace? It might be, right? If I'm down at a 30-minute, that might be all the retrace I get. If that's the top of the, if we're going to look here, if that's it, maybe it'd be here. 3, 4. Oh, shit, that's not much of a 5. But this looks like 1, 2. 1, 2. Looks like we're going to keep going. And now we don't know what we are trending. That's a 30. Well, you just look at that and it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So it doesn't look like there's any suggestion here that this is top heavy just yet, right? We'll see. Again, a lot of earnings next week. Let's go over to the Q. Hang on a second. Same thing, new all-time highs. Oh, let's see here. This is a 1070 as well. This is a little wacky, right? This is a little back and forth with one of my senseis, PK Acevenda, right? Who's a master Elliottian. You hear me reference him all the time. So he had to kind of get me to this here. This is the funky part, right? So you've got the 4s longer than 2. I had it a little bit different initially, and he set me straight here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, ABC into the 5. So I do get the 1, 2 here that I kind of wanted, right? So if this is the start of it, and this is the 1, well, now we're a little front run off of the 50. To and through that. This is, I think, what you were looking for here as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you perfect? Just I can't make it up. Perfect impulse here into the 3. Oh, let's see. Let's measure that just out of curiosity, right? These are the kind of things. Just you do this. Where is the where's the highest probability location for the wave 3? Right. 1618, 175. What do we do? I know, that's crazy coincidence, huh? Okay, so down for the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Does that look like we're done? No, it doesn't. All right, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I think we're gonna have an extension in the 5th, right? We got all the tech earnings next week. I would not be betting against that. Now that's just me, right? I'm not saying it's not financial advice. I'm just saying, looking at the technicals here, if this is 1, 2, 1, 2, looks like we are in the 3. Right? Like, really, you want to short that? I wouldn't. Despite the fact here, if we look down here, right, you've got this nice divergence happening. But that's on a 4 hour. Let's go to a 30. All right, that divergence is going to look a little different. 1, 2. I can't remember what this did here. All right, well, it's a little bit of a, yeah, good luck here. Or maybe it's here. 1, 2, 1 AB. Oh, fuck. Oh, that's a little, you just got to go with what the market is implying, right? So 3, 4, 5, 4, it's reasonable chance to think you were done here. Right? I mean, that's what it looked like. 1, 2, right in the pocket. So to label that, oh shit. Let me go one more time. We'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's take that to the, we'll have to go minuscule. Here's something we haven't used. What's kind of bright here, so we can get a 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, there's the target for the 3, right? I'm just using the 1618, 175, right? Same thing. Always the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5 of 5, right? Nothing to suggest that we don't have more to go yet, right? Now that could turn, that could change. But as it sits right now, why would you think anything different? No, it's overdone. And Kramer said to sell it. All right, good luck with that. Okay, I got two alts here. Maker, this is, again, it's got a good use case. The technicals it's a little funky here. Oh shit, we've seen how far we've gone, right? We're 6,400. Here's the crypto cycle. So coming out of this low here, it's questionable so as we sit down here, right? So if I do this, right, we don't need to be in, well, shit, yeah, I guess we do. It's more than 3, 4 times the range. So we have to be in log here. Have to be, right? It's just too big, which is a pain in the ass, right? Because it fucks up it screws up the regression channels, right? That would be cool if they could. Yeah, I don't think there'd be a way to do it. Much like they did with the fibs, so they made it so that whether you were in logarithmic or arithmetic, it would give you real numbers. But I think with that, we don't have that option. So here, this is here's the conundrum, right? Is this 1, 2? Well, this is a, technically you could trade it as 1, 2. I'm just inclined to, it's one or the other, right? So this would be a high class problem. If this is going to keep going, if we have to add another 1, 2, okay, so be it. As it sits right now, okay, I don't have a new low, so a slight truncation of a couple of ticks, that comes off with such a clear impulse, right? There's no dispute, right? 20 out of 20 eliticians are going to label that the same way. It's a shallow 2, but it's interesting, right? So you see this. It's interesting, right? We come right back to the edge of that, right? So here's the accumulation, launch. Right, this is perfect Wyckoff, right? Almost perfect, right? Right, though we don't quite get the spring, right? It's not perfect technical, but it's pretty damn close, right? Jump across the creek, back to test, foot in the puddle, and then off we go. So 1, 2, not 3, right? I need a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So suggests to me that we've got a 1 shallow 2, 1 another 2. Kind of the same thing here, right? We've got this unmitigated zone here. It looked like it was threatening here. 1 ABC into the 2. You got a little wick here to kind of throw a monkey in the wrench there, but I wouldn't give that a lot of weight. I'd suggest 1, 2, 3 still going. Right? We're still going for the 3. What have I got here, right? So still clearly, trending. Now we're coming back here, like we're cooling off, but that would suggest to me that 1, 2, 3 is the highest probability, right? That could change. Oh, it would create a pretty wide 1, 2, right, for this. Let's put that in green to match the underlying. All right, we need that 3 to kick. So where are we looking for that? Again, same process every time, right? Always the same way, right? That's the power of it, right? That's what we'd be looking for. 3, 4, 5, all of that going higher. So maker 1 to keep your eyes on. It's not quite ripe yet. So this is just one to get on your watch list. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, I'd set an alert up here at 2850 if we get up there, and then back to here. This is very commonly we come back to the edges of the 1, 2 channel for a retrace, which looks like it'd be about 38 if we get that. 3, 4, 5, 5 of 3. You know how that goes. All right, I know members do. You see here, I see it hasn't quite swept this liquidity. I know what you're wondering. Why do we stop there? Is it there? All right, well, that's going to be some stiff resistance right there. I think we're too far if we come down here. Yeah, we're well through it. So there's the big lift off right now. That's much like Bitcoin. We're like, oh God, I wonder if it'll get through. Well, it's going to take some muscle to get through there. Right? You know the algo is going to kick there. We'll see. Okay, so that's one to keep your eyes on and get it on your watch list, right? So you got nice technicals here. 1, 2, 1, 2. Right. Big test coming up. Okay. What was my other one? Solana. Okay, hang on a sec. All right, perhaps my favorite technical setup here across the board. Well, certainly everything we've looked at. This is Solana. Hang on. Oh, what a pretty 5 that brings us down. I'm in log scale here since we're going from 250 to $7-8. Beautiful 5 brings it down, right? And the whole thing was technical. This is a golden zone. This is a 50. It's just gorgeous, right? And then we come on the other side, right? So right here into the pocket. Algo gets paid, right? We're already through the third, right? This is just gorgeous technical analysis. I mean, I shouldn't say it that way. I'm not saying mine. I'm just saying that it's trading technically. That's what I mean to say. 1, 2, right? So you can see that where was the big, well, this would be change of character at the least. Do this. All right, so this was the strong high that gave us that low, right? So as we retrace here, this would be the expectation. We'd go back down, right? It's a failure swing. So breaking that, some would call that, you could do this a couple of different ways, but that's the major break. You could call that a break of structure. I think people get way too caught up in is it a change of character? Is it a break of structure? A change of character is a break of structure. It's just how you want to label it. Oh, we can do that as a boss. Let's do it as a boss up. All right, so you might have done this as your chalk right here. Again, I don't think it makes a big difference, personally. All right. It's kind of curious as to how we're looking right here. All right, so we're not there yet. This is all getting mitigated here. Let's get our order blocks on there out of curiosity. Right, so here's a good example, right, just as I was saying before. Hang on. So this would have been from this pivot, right? The strong high that gave us that low that broke this low, right? So it gave us this break of structure. That's the last break of structure on the way down, right? So we can look at that and say, okay, well, with that break of structure, this should have been this is the strong high, right? It's protected, right? It had to be money committed here to get that low. So when this breaks, well, it's not surprising that there's an order block there that you would anticipate that this would get defended. You can see you get a little reaction once it's through. Now that former order block, right, becomes a breaker block. See, well, this is the same thing here. This is a breaker block. Up, down, up, oh. Breaker block. This, I've just drawn this in as a little consolidation. So 1, 2, 1, 2 is Anybody going to argue with that as an impulse? I'm going to guess not. This looks, what's the characteristic of a 4? Right, we're not progressing the trend. Big trend. Look where we are down here. Right, not only are we in a squeeze, but we're below 20 on the ADX. So no trend, right? Obviously. But ideal for a 4, right? And we come back here to this zone here where we had a little consolidation. Oh, it's much like Bitcoin. Oh, come on, really? It's not going to like give me this, is it? Oh my God. Is it really going to do that? Could I be that fortunate? Would that be the tie, right, or the high, right back into this? Well, now it's a breaker block. There will be some resistance there, right? Just there would be at the all-time high, right? Through it, back, retrace. 4 order blocks here galore. I could just pull this whole thing out. Right, there would be potential support here. It's always just potential support. I don't have this yet, so if I'm going to get up here, that would be here. All right, so because now I'd be making the connection here. Let's hang on. Damn it. All right, so if this is 1, 2, and then we're going for 3. Well, this would be this would be complete. So here, let's hide that. Let's just hide it. All right, so we'd be teeing up. Oh shit, come here. All right, this is what we'd be drawing up. Oh, probably just do it that way, and let's go to white so it's consistent with that degree. So then you'd be thinking for the 4 here. Right, if 2 through, right, if and I don't have this, right? I'm just hypothesizing. Oh, if I get a perfect 3, right, which wouldn't shock me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, if it's offered here, I wouldn't let that get away. Let's see what we get here. I wouldn't let that get away. That's for an elitician. That's a layup. Right, now that doesn't. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that. Oh, this couldn't break. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying if you got that, if you got this to come down in a 3, what are you waiting for? Seriously, right? You pretty much, you don't have to try and pick the turn, right? Take the little first. Right? You got to take that. Or I don't know what are you doing? Okay, guys, that's all I got. I think that covers us. I got 6 assets there. All right, that's pretty much where I'll wrap it up for the day. Right, as usual, if you like this kind of stuff, you want to get trained on this, learn how to do it, we can help you with that. Belt system is a good place to start. The brown belt is almost done. Where I've just done essentially what I've done here. Right, I'm just demonstrating how Elliott Wave market structure. Same side, 2 sides of the same coin, right? You can't employ Elliott Wave without you don't even know you're doing it. You're using market structure, right? And if you know you're doing it, it's just all the more powerful, right? So that's the premise of what we're doing, focused on in the brown belt. Okay, guys, that's everything I got for the day. You guys have a good weekend. I'll be back next week. Well, live streams on Wednesdays. Those have been pretty popular, so we'll keep going with those. With that, I wish you guys a good weekend, and we'll catch you next week.